For the dead bug position with intra-abdominal pressure, we're trying to introduce creating core stability here using our own intrinsic stabilization system. If you've ever heard someone say belly button to spine when you're doing different ab exercises or core stability routines, I'm sorry to tell you, but that is absolutely incorrect. We want to make sure that we are stabilizing the core, and so rather than under an concentric contraction pulling things in, I want to eccentrically load the core muscles so they are tight and long, using the diaphragm to do that. So the easiest way to do this, and the way that I like to start, is in the dead bug position with the feet elevated. Dead bug or 3-month supine position. So I'll be here, heels up. So I like to make sure that the hips are at 90 degrees, knees are at 90 degrees, just an easy place to start. Now creating the intra-abdominal pressure, like I said, we're not hollowing, so we're not pulling the belly button to the spine or sucking in. I'm pushing out actually, so I'm trying to make my waistband nice and tight. You can see how that creates kind of this big fat belly, but instead of just pushing out in the front, I want to think about pushing out on the sides. So I'm making the sides push out, the front takes care of itself. Of course, the core goes all the way around, so it's not just on the front or the sides, but it would actually be pushing into the back as well, creating a little buttressing effect against the spine. So I'm pushing out on the sides, making sure that my ribs here stay down. I'm not going ribs up, creating pressure. If I can grab my ribs, then that means my diaphragm and my pelvic floor are not lined up. So they're kind of missing each other, and I'm not creating optimum pressure here in the core. So I'm going pressure out, ribs down. I'm not rocking my pelvis back to do it. I'm not pushing the legs into the box. I'm just pushing out on the sides, ribs down. From here, once I have that really good pressure, I'll go hands towards the ceiling and then just pick my feet up off the box about 2 inches. Keeping the ribs down so I can't grab the ribs, keeping that pressure out on the sides, keeping that really good intra-abdominal pressure. Now, when we set the legs down, we're going to keep the pressure, set the legs down, and then relax the core before you go into that next hold. The reason that I want to make sure that we create the pressure first, then raise the legs, and then keep that pressure as we bring the legs back down, is especially when there is in the presence of pretty acute low back pain, sometimes those transitional motions are often really painful unless we have adequate intra-abdominal pressure stabilizing the low back. That is mostly for acute situations. So for this one, you've probably seen people go, feet to the ground, and we'll cover that in a different video when we start to dissociate the true hip from the pelvis and the low back. But this is a really great place to start to practice that intra-abdominal pressure so that can start translating to transitional motions or lifts, squat, deadlift, even any shoulder to overhead movements like that as well. So starting with the dead bug, it's a really great place to start to do 5 sets of about a 15-second hold if you're just starting out. If that's really easy, then chances are we need to progress the movement anyway, and you can kind of move past this one.